What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back with our first official match reaction of the 25-26 Premier League season. How y'all feeling about that match? It was a it was a weird result, wasn't it? It was one of those days, right, where we did pretty much everything right. Not to mention pretty much everything better than Arsenal did, but still just could not find the back of the net, and unfortunately could not come out with 3 points, dropping points. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We got a lot to cover, but United did lose 1-0 to Arsenal at home to kick off the new season. We're going to talk about all of that today in our first match reaction of the season. And I have thoughts. Amorim has got some thoughts. We'll look at what he had to say. I know you guys have thoughts. I mean, that's really why we're here. We're trying to get your guys' thoughts. But we're going to talk about all that today. You guys know the drill. We do it all here and now. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hopefully this didn't sour anything. I really hope not. And I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. But we're going to start with a little bit of transfer talk to kick things off. Not a lot. We're not going to take a half hour. It's going to be like a couple stories, but we're going to start with that, and then we're going to dive into the map. So make sure you get your thoughts in on that as well. I put a poll in the chat. Want to know overall maybe how you felt about the performance. So make sure you vote in that. I figured out the DAZN, the DAZN thing for free, by the way. So got that all squared away. They try to get you. They try to get you to pay for it, but if you just Google how to get DAZN for free, you'll find your way. So back to watching the Belgian league. So I am right there with you. And then a center back that I featured in last night's scouting report special video did have a solid match this morning. If you guys want to know who I'm talking about, go check out that video. Posted it yesterday, and you guys seem to like it. I had a blast. There was one in there, plays for Hull City. Had an absolute match. He might be the next big one to watch out for. So go check out that video. You want to make sure you know who I'm talking about. Don't miss out. Make sure you hit that bell too so you don't miss out on anything. But guys, first and foremost, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check those memberships if you want to get involved in more content on the channel, including suggestions for scout reports, or even Legends members can jump in on the weekly kickabout with Dylan to get involved virtually. Check those out as well. Go check out the United vs. Everybody store. As always, always fun new designs in there. They don't cost a lot. Nothing goes to the club or the Glazers, so you don't have to worry about that if that's your thing. And of course, as always, check the video subscription if you guys want to get a kickstart on the new season, get some swag, get yourself a jersey from GoGoalShop. You don't want to spend an arm and a leg. And if you want to save even more money, use that code down in the description. When you register, you will get $5 off. So they were kind enough to hook me up for that. But go check them out, you guys. First, though, before we even dive into the news, I got to check and see who everyone is getting involved here. Rob, big up, Rob. Good to see you. Better team lost. Enjoyed the way we played. I second that emotion, my friend. I second that emotion. Danny B in the house. I hope you're having a good weekend, my friend. Computers decided to do a madness all of a sudden. Awesome. Love technology. You guys know I'm not the most technically savvy person when it comes to computers. It's literally email and like Google Slides to put this shit together, and that's it. But big up. Danny agrees, played well, but could do with more of a keeper midfield today. Yep, we're going to talk about all that because the worst parts of the way we play and the biggest holes in our squad, I feel like we're on display today, if that makes sense. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Danny says that result is on Ineos and the board. Everyone, my dog knew we needed a keeper in June. Maybe that was Amorim's plan all along. Maybe there was a reason for it. We know managers are not above doing that kind of thing. Hell, Thomas Tuchel decided to play a midfielder at center back at PSG because he wanted a center back and nobody gave him one. So managers do that kind of stuff all the time. Samuel, welcome back, Samuel. Mason Mount should be stripped from having the number 7 shirt. Harsh words from Samuel on Mason Mount. I actually thought Mason Mount was pretty good today. Thought he was getting involved. Thought he was lively. I thought he had really good link-up play. He was fighting for everything. He was pretty much, for a spell there, he was the only one kind of really doing a whole lot in the opposition box, in Arsenal's box. But the 7 shirt I agree upon, but doesn't mean that Mount was bad today. But yeah, like Danny says, I thought he was his best game. But if somebody wanted us to sell them Mount, I would definitely give them to him. So big up. Nubis, I'm not sure why it would be echoing. Is it echoing for everybody? Because nothing looks off on my end. So maybe it's your computer, my friend. Maybe you've got a couple computers going on. So in any case, let's dive into the news. We got some big news ahead of kickoff today regarding our striker situation. Lori Whitwell, Mark Critchley, Fabrizio Romano, all sort of corroborating the same thing. You guys are saying all sorts of things. It was reported this morning. I don't know why it was reporting on the morning of the match, but it was reported this morning that Rasmus Højlund was set to miss out on a place in the squad to face Arsenal, and sure enough, that's what happened. So this is what we got this morning. Højlund has been told he faces a challenge to get minutes this season under Ruben Amorim. Højlund has said he wants to stay, but several clubs interested in signing him. That's coming from Lori Whitwell. And then Romano chimed in and actually said, and he said the same thing later on, just like a half hour ago, that when it comes to Højlund United, it's over. It's just completely done. He's not going to be a part of the squad, obviously. We want maybe a loan with an obligation to buy. Højlund, remember, he said all that stuff about wanting to fight for his spot, but I mean, he was not used at all against Fiorentina in that friendly. All signs point to this possible loan with an option to buy. AC Milan, the most heavily linked destination. He was adamant. He wanted to stay. He wanted to fight. He wanted competition. But I think right now, pal, the writing's on the wall. I think we can all safely say that your time at United is up. And I'm not sure how you guys feel. It's nothing personal. Obviously, he's just, maybe the stage is too big for him. Maybe the league is too tough for him. I don't know. He had promised he shouldn't have been the starting striker. That's more on us than it is on him. That's not what we bought him for, but I think that it's just time for him to, I mean, even just for his sake, right? Just go and play some football at a team, maybe someplace like Eindhoven or Ajax or someplace like that, Leipzig or something is probably a good fit. So, what are you guys saying here? Yeah, Danny, I got thoughts on Bruno. we don't talk about Bruno. No, today we're talking about Bruno. Andreas, welcome back, Andreas. Good to see you again. Good performance. We need a new goalkeeper. Pretty much the refrain from the chat so far. So we need a new keeper. I am Titanium. Big up. I hope you're doing well. I am Titanium. Is that who that is? Danny, is that this person's name? Bilal. Big up. Danny says Dallo, Shaw, time should be up. I don't have a problem with Shaw staying after today if he's rotation, but he definitely should not be starting. But if we can get money for him, that would be excellent. Casper says, not a great start to the season for us. I'm disappointed with the result. I am not at all disappointed with the performance, if that makes sense. So moving on, we're going to keep cruising through this news, just kick things off so we can kind of get it out of the way here. So on top of putting in an offer for Sancho, Romano reports that Roma have also contacted United about Tyrell Malacia. Now, I'm not going to lie. Part of me feels like maybe we just threw Malacia in as the deal to kind of convince Roma to just put in that offer for Sancho, kind of give him a two for, just take him here. We'll do it. We'll give you Malacia as well. Just do it for both. Like, part of me feels like maybe we snuck him in there or something just to get rid of him. Romano also adds that Malacia is interested in the move as well. Besiktas have also been interested in him as well. So could be getting rid of a couple more players. We've still got Garnacho, who we've nearly not heard a peep about in like a week. Sancho, Malacia, and Antony all still on the chopping block. This might have something to do too with the fact that apparently Sancho has now deleted all his Man United references from social media, because apparently that's what grown-ups do now, take to social media. Not like we haven't seen that from Sancho before, right? Sancho, passive-aggressively expressing his feelings on social media? No, never. He never does that. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just not here for the drama. I don't know what to tell you, but it's just social media, man. It's just nothing good. When have you ever had a good thing come out and social media was involved, like for real? Oh, man. I could show you some stats, too. Sammy says, Benjamin Sesko, Cheeto, Obi Martin should start up front together to see us score more goals. I forgot all about Cheeto. Cheeto probably needs to just chill in the academy for a little while as well. Nuba says, something that rarely talked about is that our players don't create clear chances for each other. It feels like everyone is in it for themselves, just like last season. mean, maybe I could see. I mean, last season for sure, I definitely felt like that at times. I don't feel like that a whole lot this season. I think, or at least today, this season, it's been one match. Today I did feel like there's a sense of just like that urgency to, especially in the second half. Like everyone's just, we need to score, we need to score. I don't think it was more. Last year it felt like more, I want to score. Today it felt like we need to score, we need to score, and everyone was just getting involved. Whereas before, it just Garnacho wanted to take the shot, Rashford wanted to take the shot, everybody wanted to take the shot. Nobody wanted to look for the better player in the better position, if that makes sense to you. I don't know. Casper actually thinks Arsenal deserve a result. Well, you're going to be alone in that one, man, because I definitely don't agree with you. But y'all let Casper know what you think. Agile, welcome back. Good to see you again. I hope you're doing well. Jules, long time no see, man. Hope you're doing well, Jules. Let us know your thoughts on the match. We are just wrapping up some of that news, and we're going to dive into the match here, starting with a little bit of team selection thoughts. Yeah, I agree, Agile. I thought they were bang average. We're going to talk about them because I got thoughts on that the corner kick goal that we conceded too. So, team selection. No Højlund at all. Bayindir started despite Onana being fit. Now, Amorim explained after the match that it wasn't a case of dropping Onana like because of form or anything. It was just not putting Onana in because he's just had 1 week of training. Apparently, he hasn't really seen any minutes, hasn't had any time in training. So it's just a matter of him basically not being up to speed, kind of a thing, which we all kind of figured probably would happen going into this. The problem again is just that lack of quality and depth that really, even if Onana started, you guys, I didn't even have a keeper in my predicted 11 because I would rather not have anyone start because I don't think our keepers are that great. Tom Heaton's the best of all three, and it's not even like he should be starting week in, week out, if that makes any sense. But Dalot getting the nod at the right wing back instead of Ahmad, which is probably the biggest mistake I saw today from Amorim, if there's any really to choose from. I thought he did pretty well overall today, but did not like that move at all. Šeško on the bench, probably just, again, maybe similar to Onana, just not a whole lot of time with the squad. He just was confirmed like a week ago, so I think we all would have liked to seen him start, but he got like a half hour. You guys could let me know your thoughts on, if you thought anything from Šeško. Obviously, it's a half hour. Not really going to be able to do much with that. But so that meant a front three, though, similar to what we saw against Fiorentino, Mount, Cunha, and Mbeumo, all kind of interchanging, all kind of doing what needed to be done, which is kind of like what we said could happen, not only in this match, but sometimes throughout the season. That might be the front three now and then, just a little bit of that false nine, false nine, false nine kind of a thing, which also meant Casemiro and Bruno in the pivot. So I know a lot of everybody had thoughts on that going into it. It was the pivot that I kind of said we should be going with just because I wasn't super convinced about from Ugarte this preseason. And honestly, I don't think either of them did. Well, we're not going to say either of them. I didn't think Casemiro had a bad match. He did some Casemiro things, but on the whole, I think Casemiro did what you'd expect him to do in that match. And I think that what I like from Casemiro, again, kind of like what we saw from Evans and Varane, his experience, his anticipation is good. No, he's not going to track back and chase everybody down, but he knew where to be when he needed to be there, and I don't have a problem with that. And he can play a ball. The problem is he did play a couple of those no-look passes, which again, it's Casemiro bingo. You can just tick that square before the game even starts. You know he's going to do that. So Shaw, De Ligt, Euro, and then Xerxes on the bench I thought was a welcome little boost as well. I thought that was good news. Nubis says our best keeper is currently on loan. Well played, Nubis. Jules thinks Dalot defended well but wasteful in the final third, and that's pretty much Dalot to a T. Though he's got the mentality in terms of just he loves to hype up the crowd. He's still shit in 1v1s. He still stands off as defender, but he does seem to pop up in those dangerous areas around our own box and kind of sweep up now and then. But like you say, the problem is in that final third, his ball into the box is like 9 times out of 10 just not going to anybody whatsoever. It's so bad. I thought overall he wasn't bad, but again, it's a step down from Ahmad, unfortunately, and so it is what it is. Let me get this off the screen. My bad. First half, I thought was very, very good to start, right? Good energy to start, good intensity. We were moving the ball well, we were pressing well, we were just all over the place. But then, as we've seen many, many times, we conceded a bit of a fluky goal from a corner, despite honestly Bayindir clearly, literally being pushed and his arm grabbed. I don't know why everyone's thinking like, oh, he's just got to be stronger. Like he's literally getting elbowed, and like no one else is pointing this out. His arm is literally being pushed and pulled, so he can't move his arm freely. That's been ruled a foul this weekend. If you guys have been watching any of the matches going around the grounds, it's literally been called a couple times. Again, shit consistency when it comes to some of these calls, but it is what it is. I thought that overall on that corner, we were just not good at defending, but we haven't been good at defending corners in a while. We've gone through set piece coach after set piece coach after set piece coach. We just fired another one, Andrea Georgian. We just fired him over the last season as well. But again, same story though as the last few years. We start strong and then we concede, and then we're just it all kind of starts to fall apart. We were outnumbered a bit in midfield. Arsenal play a 3. We played a pivot, one of whom is not a 6. The other one is not very fast. So we were getting passed around a little bit, but I thought that we handled it pretty well. No striker. I think the biggest issue for me was the fact that there was no real out-and-out striker on the pitch. And so I felt like we were getting really good chances in that first half. We were getting the ball in the final third. But without the striker, guys like Dalot, guys like Dorgu, they just didn't have anybody to aim at because everyone else was playing their positions that they naturally play, and nobody was taking up the spots that you want a striker to be in, that a real striker would. Very, very frustrating. The other thing I have a really big bugaboo about is, and I've said this going into this match, is we're too slow and we're too cautious and we're too ponderous when it comes to building out from the back. I gave you that stat that I saw in The Athletic that a third of our passes last season were between center backs and they were just side to side. We are too slow at moving the ball out and getting up the pitch, which is why we made Arsenal look good defensively, only because we played so slowly and they weren't actively trying to like press us off that ball. They were just happy to just let us do that. And it just took forever, and it allowed them to get back into shape. And it's just all those opportunities, that space in behind that we can exploit, was just gone to waste. Really annoying. We saw early on just some of that movement from Arsenal that I was telling us about in the preview, that a lot of movement in and around the box, a lot of overlaps, underlaps. They're trying to confuse us. And then I told you the new set piece routines that they're doing caught us out. They got 5 guys lined up on that box. A couple of them start to make runs. They're pushing, they're pulling, they do whatever they need to do. And again, we concede. And I was really disappointed in the lack of fitness I saw. Even like 5, 6, 7 minutes before halftime, I thought we looked gassed. We just looked tired. Nobody was really pressing. Everybody was it looked like they were just waiting for the whistle. We were just trying to will the halftime whistle to be blown, and nobody could be bothered. Arsenal were just passing around us. They were running around us while we were just standing on. We were literally trying to defend our own box, and nobody's moving towards the ball. No one's pressing. No one's showing any sort of hustle. And we still had 5, 6 minutes to go in the first half. Very, very disappointed in that. Let me see what you guys saying before I go into the second half here. Samuel says footballers are more fit today compared to 20 years ago. Yeah, well, not us. And the numbers again show it. We're going to talk a little bit about the numbers later on, but again, we can look like we've got more energy, but when you get down to the numbers, the overall fitness just wasn't on our side today. Danny said DeLitt done the same thing to Raya, but he dealt with it. Yeah, no, and I'm not letting Bayindir off the hook per se, but again, we've seen those called before. And what I mean is we've seen those called this weekend, and he's literally getting elbowed, and his arm, I should put up the screenshot, his arm is getting moved all over the place. But he should be better, but again, doesn't mean it's not a foul. So it is what it is. That's Arsenal. Arsenal get all this freaking plaudit for being these set piece like geniuses, when literally all they're doing is just pushing and pulling people so they can't defend. It's such bullshit, dude. It really is. Let's see. Yeah, Nubis. I saw Yep Stam going in on this too, that Mount was getting pulled. I mean, that kind of stuff, I don't tend to care about the pushing and pulling because everyone's doing it. Like Maguire going down late in the second half looking for a pen because his shirt was pulled. He was literally pulling the other player's shirt too. But they do it so tactfully. You see, like, he's got the defender's body between him and the referee, but he's still pulling the shirt from behind, so the referee can't actually see it, but he's still doing it. Like, they're very sneaky. So Joel says, easy to fix this nonsense. The rule should be no players allowed the 6-yard box on corners. It's hard, right? There's that fine line between keepers being too protected, but then like stuff like that. Like, you shouldn't be able to grab, but we've seen even last year, you're not supposed to be able to grab a keeper's arms and shit. Like, I don't know. Bindier, we know Bindier is not strong on those. It was the same reason we conceded a goal against Spurs in the Carabao Cup last year when we got knocked out. But at the same time, like, when you're getting elbowed and your arm is being prevented from moving upward, like, what can you do, dude? Seriously, it's really annoying. Let me get caught up here. Lucky, big up, Lucky. Hope you're doing well. Proud of Ahmad, Cunha, Dallo, Mason, Dorgu. Yeah, Dorgu was on one today, man. He was doing, dude. Agile. That's exactly my point. Like, if this were a situation not on a set piece, and like, again, this is like the penalty law. If you're not trying to play the ball, you're just trying to play the man, it's a penalty. If you're not trying to play the ball or like get on the end of something and you're just trying to impede the keeper, like, it should be a foul. Like, it's ridiculous. It's one thing if you're standing there and but you're using your arms, man. Like, it's whatever. It is what it is. Hope everyone's doing well. Yes, please hit that like button for me. Please subscribe to the channel. Nubis says, what's the point of VAR? I get if the ref didn't see it, but the VAR refs reviewed it and said nothing wrong. Yeah, and you know how this is probably why I think most of all that it was a foul, and the refs looked at it at halftime and decided that it actually was, is because we ended up, if you paid attention, we got away with a lot in the second half, like a lot, like a lot of stuff that really should have been called. We were getting away with, and sometimes I feel like that happens when the refs make an early call that was the wrong call, and they feel like the team that was hard done by, they need to try to shift the balance back, so they start to let a little bit more go, and it really should be called against us. That, to me, lends further credence to my feelings that that was not the right call. But hey, that's just my perspective. Y'all let me know. Box, big up, man. Was there VAR? No, this was actually the first round of the Carabao Cup. No VAR today, but that's coming up soon. First round against Grimsby. Big up. Box, dude. Thank you, Box. Thank you so much. Arsenal were literally time wasting from the first half onward, dude. Literally every goal kick, every throw in, every restart, time wasting. And this is like, you're not tactical geniuses. Arteta's not a good manager. He's just pushing everybody on set pieces and they're wasting time left and right. That's all they're doing, dude. It's not tactical. It's the same as how I feel about, it does my head. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when people try to give Jurgen Klopp this stature as some sort of tactical genius. He plays kick and rush, hoof and long ball football from like the 80s English league, and is like, oh, he's a genius, but we call it heavy metal, so it must be. It's just Trent Alexander-Arnold spamming long balls throughout the 90 minutes. It's not tactical whatsoever. I can't do it. I'm going to get into it. Samuel's getting over to Manchester this year. Big up, man. Dylan and I will be there week in between Christmas and New Year's Eve. Dylan and I are going to Wolves and Newcastle, and we're sneaking over to the Salford when they play Fleetwood. So we'll be doing that as well. So big up, Samuel. Always fun to take photos, man. Take some photos. Remember it. Danny says, only 6 minutes injuries time. Yeah. I don't know if the cheers at the end when that went up were ironic or people were actually like happy about it, but it probably should have been more. It was really annoying, dude. Box says, under Arteta 22-23, they were free-flowing. They've literally regressed. Yeah, Arteta is starting to become a little bit more like a Pep and Mourinho regen, where he's like, now he's getting to that point. I think he's feeling a bit of that pressure where he's starting to embrace the dark arts, turning over to the dark side just to get the results at this point. I think it's less, which is funny because other managers like Ten Hag, for instance, get slaughtered for shit like that. But, when other people do it, it's totally fine. City buys 8 players in the last 6 months, and they're supposedly treble winners. And Pep is the best manager since forever. And all they can do against Wolves is some counterattack to get up a couple goals, and then it's basically the open game for them. They struggled to cope with Wolves that entire first half. They did not look good at all, but hey, that's cool. Ten Hag got slaughtered for counterattack literally every time he did it, but Pep does it and it's fine. Cool. They're the greatest team ever. Fuck off, England. Fuck off for real, dude. Oh, it's annoying. Shatanu, welcome to the channel. Good to see new face. You guys, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Says, I think Bruno will do better against smaller teams. Yeah, Bruno, I got thoughts on Bruno. I know you guys do too. It was not a good game for him, but welcome to the channel. Bexy, welcome back. United looked better, but lost at home. United need points on the board. It is. We do. It is one game in, so I'm not going to freak out too much. So, but we'll see what is going on with this computer. This computer, I think, is trying to force me to update, so it's being a little bit of a bitch right now. Today, in general, felt different in terms of the eye test. We were threatening, competitive, but still lacking. Yeah, the set piece defending has just been shit. Sammy wants to get a photo. I'm only going to be there in December, from like the 26th to like the 31st of December. That's when I'll be there. So if you're there, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, or shoot me put something, a post on the community tab, and we'll hook up, man. Second half, Ahmad came on for Dallo, and I thought that we looked much better, like instantly. I thought we looked more like creating something on the counter, but the problem is it's just not Amorim's style. We look dangerous on those situations, but we're so hesitant to do that, which is very frustrating. What else happened? How about that touch from Cunha to like Lou? Was it Rice he just left behind? He absolutely, was that Rice or was that White? I can't remember who that was now, but that little silky little back heel to himself to just get up, just completely take him out of the game. And then he's literally getting pulled, and he's just like, fuck off. I got this. Literally carries it like 30 yards. Creates an opportunity. I mean, it's too bad that it kind of got caught in Mbuemo's feet. He couldn't really sort his feet out and stuff, but it is what it is. We nearly equalized it with a header later on from Mbuemo too. I thought we looked pretty. Again, it was frustrating because we started to up the tempo. We started to kind of turn the screw a little bit late on that second half. But again, it's the reason why we were doing that. We were down. We were hoofing and hoping. Maguire on, stick him in the box, put a bunch of balls in the box. Bruno sit deep, collect all these balls when they get recycled, and just keep hoofing it. I've got thoughts on that as well. But for a second there, it almost felt like if we had 5 more minutes, we probably would have equalized. But again, it's just one of those instances where we just left it too late, unfortunately. And so it's just annoying, dude. Box, don't break your TV, Box. Let Amorim do that for you. You guys are funny. Bexy says, United's attack was so wimpy last season. This season, we could score more set pieces, create more. Shesko looks a fast unit, yeah. You guys, let me know your thoughts on Shesko. What are you guys saying overall on the match? I put that poll in. 81% of you say we were better and deserve more. 19% don't think there's been any sign of improvement yet. Interesting. All right. Jules says, Eduarde's shot was so frustrating. We were building pressure, and he did that in the 87th minute. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that we would see from Bruno like 4 or 5 years ago, right? Like in those moments where we need to slow things down, we need to keep control of the ball, we need to just be smart. Someone comes up and just they get like tunnel vision, and they're like, nope, opportunity, ball dropping to my feet at the edge of the box. Fuck it, I'm going for it. And he knows it, and he knows it. He knows it wasn't even like it was like, oh, I just got a bad contact. Like you have to know in that situation, not the right decision to make. I could care less about contact technique. That shot itself, not the right call. It just wasn't. You needed to control it, put it wide, get it back in the box for one more chance. But it is what it is. Those are those fine margins that can win, can cost you, or they can turn you into a hero. And Ugarte is just not the guy you want that ball to fall to in that moment. So, you guys are funny here. All right, what do we got here? Numbers wise, really, it was all United. If you want to look at the numbers, we were just kind of vast majority of the momentum. If you look at like FootMob or something, the momentum was pretty much all in our favor over the 90 minutes. We had 61% average possession to their 39%, and it definitely upped in the second half as well. We had a higher XG, 22 shots to their 9. 15 of our shots were from inside the box, 7 on a target compared to their 3. So again, it's just a matter of just not quite getting those chances down. Like brand new attack, all of it, and it's just, it'll click. It will click. We had a better pass accuracy. nearly half the fouls committed to, so we were much better in that regard. Even in duels, we were much better. We won 70 total duels to their 51. We bested them in literally every type of duel, every single 1v1, dribbles, duels. We were better than Arsenal. But again, like someone said earlier, fitness, we were not fit. Arsenal are much more fit. When you look at the sprints, the distance covered, et cetera, the fitness related stuff, they had us beat. That was literally the only thing really they had us beat, is just that level of fitness, which is a big part of why we struggle to put away our chances. We were too slow in the build-up. We let them get back into their shape. They made 8 blocks, 22 clearances. Raya made 7 saves. We only had to make 2. And that's just the difference. We have to just find a new level of fitness, man. It's just annoying. Shantana says, I don't mind Shesko not touching the ball because he was running directly between the defenders, which was creating space. Yeah, and that's something that I've said many times. It's a little bit of an underappreciated trait that good strikers do, and like just making those runs regardless, because if you're making the run and you're doing one of two things, you're either going to get on the end of something because someone sees your run and that's the point of the run, or you're pulling the defender and you're creating space for other people. And now that we've got this very dynamic, free-flowing interchange and attack, we don't just have one striker and then a couple of wingers. We've got actual, like, a front three who know what they're doing. They're going to take advantage of those situations. They're going to make those timely runs. They're going to make the good movements and stuff. And so something that goes underappreciated. Now, that being said, Space never scored a goal, so someone's got to get on the end of it. And, Shesko making a run or no striker on the pitch didn't leave us with a whole lot of options at some point. So a little bit frustrating. I'm talking a lot. Let's look at some individual performances. You guys let me know who stood out to you. Let's start with Bayindir. Overall, not bad from Bayindir. I think an argument, like I said, can be made that he's got to be better. He's got to be stronger for the goal in the corner. But again, he's clearly being pushed. It is what it is. Would he be my starting keeper? Absolutely not. I thought we were about to get rid of him. I thought he and Onana should be going, but we need another keeper for sure. So whether that's Bayindir gone or Onana gone, we need to bring in Sen Lamens. We need to put out all the stops and just get him in, because I think he does better on something like that, as he's shown literally top 1% for crosses claimed last year. So De Ligt, stellar performance from De Ligt. I thought he and Gyökeres were going at it the whole match. A good little battle, which quite frankly De Ligt won, because Gyökeres, did anybody really even know he was playing today? I couldn't tell you one thing that he actually did. I thought Shaw looked good. Did I think he looked outstanding? No, but he did the simple things well. And considering just context and stuff, that's all I would ask for Shaw right now. I don't need him to do anything stellar. He did really well, I thought, to track back early on in the first half to help out De Ligt. When De Ligt got caught out a little bit, Shaw came in out of nowhere and just made that play. Euro, again, excellent. I thought he and Dalo were not quite on the same page early on, but they haven't really played that much together, so it makes sense. Ahmad's better than Dalo, but Dalo didn't have a poor match. He just, again, that final ball is just never there. Dorgu, though, looking like one of the bargains of the century, honestly. Won 11 duels, most on the night, constantly involved in everything, fighting with everything, up and down the pitch. He's looking like a bargain. I told you all to be patient. Bill, if you're watching, I told you to be patient with Dorgu. He came in January, 20 years old, brand new to the league, no preseason. Dorgu's looked our most improved player since, Amorim showed up, to be quite honest. All it took was a preseason, and he's looking 10 times better than he was last year. Be patient. Anyone freaking out about Shesko, this and that, Mbumo, whatever, anyone freaking out, be patient. Give it time. Not only that, but be patient with Amorim to allow these players like Dorgu to come in and show what he can do. Once it clicks, it'll be fine. I'm not that worried right now. Casemiro, again, doing Casemiro things. Couple errant passes, but overall just what we needed from him today. I'm not going to complain too much. Mount, Cunha, and Mbumo, I thought all were excellent. Mbumo, constant threat, constant outlet ball. He was constantly, it seemed like we were really looking for him and Dorgu a lot early on in that first half especially. Cunha causing all sorts of problems, making people just look like mugs left and right, and getting up. Cunha gets it. He absolutely gets what it is to be a United player, man. I love this guy so much. And I think that Cunha, he just looks dangerous whenever he's on the ball. He completed the most dribbles on the night as well, Cunha. So he's effective. It'll click. Give it some time. It'll click. Moving on to the player I thought was probably our worst on the night, and that's Bruno. Honestly, he created the most chances on the night, Bruno, but I thought he was our worst player. Just didn't look switched on in the first half at all. Didn't really look like he was aware of what was going on around him. He's giving away the ball cheaply in dangerous situations a lot, especially that pass. I think it was to Euro or whatever in our own box that we nearly conceded a goal from. Like, that was an issue. I think that led to the corner that we conceded from too, by the way. Not good from Bruno tonight. Poor set piece delivery early on as well. Not too happy about that. So Bruno, let's just call it first day jitters. Let's shake it off, but because we know that that's way below the level that we expect from him, way below the level we've ever seen from him. But let's just hope it was a one-off to start the match. That maybe it was just a combination of all sorts of new stuff going on. I don't know, whatever excuse you want to make. But again, at the end of the day, not a good match from Bruno today. So it is what it is. Big up, Jarvis. Hope you're doing well, man. Are you back from your holiday? Are you using Greece, man? This guy's out here just enjoying life, living his best life, man. Asibuko, welcome. Although you're coming in weapons hot, man, blaming Amorim. Let me know why you think that. Johnny Hill, welcome to the channel, Johnny. You'd like to see some new faces. New faces, if you like what you see, you want to get involved, check, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 3K. Like the video, forward to you guys. It's free, helps the channel reach more new people like we've seen today. Love it. Love seeing the new faces. Says, now we'll be able to tell if Sir Jim watched the game. If he did, then he will now give the money to buy a top glass goalkeeper. If he didn't, then we are finished. You're speaking Danny's language. Somewhere Danny is smiling ear to ear because not only you're bashing Sir Jim a little bit, but you're kind of making a really good point. Like, this was a match that where if Ineos are ambitious, which to me it does seem like they are being this summer, this should have been a good example of that. Because if Onana were here today, honestly, I think we probably would have conceded at least a couple more goals. Not that Arsenal were creating chances, but just because he's that bad of a keeper. I'm till my dying breath, I will bash Onana as a keeper. He is that awful. He's literally that awful. Let's see. Casper and Mbeumo was very good today. Yeah, I thought Mbeumo was good. Constantly looking like a threat. I really like that a lot. Danny says, nah, Danny's fighting me. Bruno, I think even if Bruno's one of those players where even if he doesn't have a great day, he could have like 89 minutes of just maybe even like what we saw today, but he'll pop up in that last minute and do something that nobody else on the pitch to do. Today wasn't one of those days. We can't deny since he's been here, the last like 5 years, Bruno has literally led the league in chances created every season except for like one. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold led it in like 21-22 season. Bruno creates chances. He does a lot. He's in a new role in this system. He's got new players around him. He's unfamiliar with their style and everything. And Bruno's only been here a couple weeks. Shesko's only been here like a week. Give it time. Give it time. That's all I'm going to say. Johnny said, Ugarte possibly the worst sub performance. Ugarte has not been good at all this summer, like, period. Jarvis thinks Bruno is a problem that won't be addressed. Then it could be Amorim's downfall. I need specifics, though, because when you say that, I might think you mean one thing, but you might actually be another. So when people, this is something it's not because I'm like trying to be pedantic or anything. I just, honest to God, want to know why people, think the way they think. So if you say Bruno is a problem, what problem do you mean that is? Nuba says Bruno left his position many times, no discipline whatsoever. Also, what pissed me off was him taking the free kick over Mbeumo. He's playing hero mode too much. Yeah, I think we can all agree. All right, so we'll lay this one to rest right now. Bruno did not have a good game. It just wasn't. And to me, I don't think it was hero stuff. In the last 20, 15 minutes or whatever, that's what we were doing. That was the plan. Hoof and hope, to give the ball to Bruno, let him put it in the box, try to find Maguire like we did a lot last season. That's not on Bruno. That's because Bruno is the only one who can do that kind of stuff. What I didn't like from Bruno was like what I said early on in the first half. He just didn't look switched on. He was like making sloppy passes, giving the ball away too cheaply, caught out of position. Like, it just wasn't good from him. In this system, and Amorim has even said this, in the pivot, one of these players is going to be more creative. They are going to get forward, and the other one is going to hang back. And it's going to change, and that's why he wants these players to be able to do both. When Bruno gets forward, Casemiro is supposed to be sitting deep, and that's the way it works. If he gets caught out of position because he's too high, it might look like that when we lose possession and we get caught out. That's gonna happen. That's just gonna happen no matter. If you play a high line, like Spurs, it happened to Spurs all the time. Does Bruno roam? Yeah, I think a lot of it is because everything's gonna go through him, and so it's one of those weird things. Brock says our corners in general were poor. Yeah, our set pieces were just shit, dude. Just absolute shit. Tactical says Sean came back home last night, back to where. Oh man, I would at least want like a day to between, right, to just get caught up and stuff, right. But hey, glad you made it safe, man. Hope you had a good time. Big up. Johnny says I just don't know how we managed to end up with possibly the two worst goalkeepers in the league. Well, I don't really get the point of the Bayern signing. Personally, I think I don't remember how it was, like single digits what we paid, but it's like I don't get it from Bayern's perspective, because what were you thinking was going to happen? You were a starting keeper at Fenerbahce. What was going to happen when you come to United? You're going to come here just to be the backup to Andre Onana. Like I don't know. I just don't get that move personally, but we need to move him on because we need another one. We need another keeper for sure. Let's see. I'm trying to get caught up on the chats here, so Casper says, I love Bruno, worst player on the pitch today, but I do like Ugarte. I don't have a problem with Ugarte, but he's not been good for the last couple months, and it boggles my mind because there was a period of time where he did look good, and then it just kind of fell off a cliff. So Johnny says, I think the little we saw of Shesko on the ball was decent. We have Fulham next, so Shesko and Ahmad start. Yeah, they have to. You just have to. Box, yeah. If we had Casemiro 10 years ago, it'd be totally. Well, where was he at? Was he even at Real Madrid? How old is he now? Like 32? Was he that Real Madrid then? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Yeah, like 15, 16, 16, 17 Casemiro. Top. What did Amorim have to say? He had something to say. He didn't really have much to say in the press conference. The journos really tried to get him to admit that either he wasn't happy with the goalkeepers we had or he was happy with the keepers we had. Pretty much like 8 questions rapid fire were all about, so are you saying you're happy with the keepers? Are you saying you want a new keeper? Like, shut the hell up, dude. Like, if I'm Amorim, I'm going to stop after like the 5th question from the same journal about keepers. I'm going to say, what was your name again? All right. You're not allowed back. Bye. Fuck off. Like, I would say, what's that? Your tape recorder? And throw it behind me and say, fuck off. Go get that. Like, that shit would annoy me. Like, annoy you. Guys ever watch Ted Lasso? If you ever watch Roy Kent give these pressers, that's exactly what I would do, because it would do my head in having to deal with this. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, having to deal with those kind of situations. And I just have zero patience for it. Box says, when Amorim says he's happy with the goalkeepers, I feel like chucking a TV at him. He's got to say that, though. What do we expect the manager to say about their players? Like, this ain't Jose or Conte or something. Like, you got to be diplomatic. You got to try to keep things on an even keel. He's not going to come out in a presser and just say, nope, fuck them all off. I can't stand every single one of them. They're all rubbish. He's going to say what he's going to want to say, and then behind closed doors, he's probably talking to the players differently. He's probably talking to his coaching staff differently. He's probably talking to Ineos differently. Don't read too much into what managers say in a presser from that sort of standpoint, if that makes sense. So, Casper, I'm always worried when Onana starts. It is the worst thing in the world, dude. So yeah, most of the presser not good. Now, Amorim did have this to say, which I'm going to put up on the screen now, because he had comments on the set piece we conceded, and just a little bit of why that happened. So it's kind of long. I'll read it out to you. So he says, more or less the same that happened sometimes last year, the corner kick goal we conceded. For me, it's not playing the ball. It's protecting the guys that they are attacking. I understand that we want goals, but when you're touching the goalkeeper in that way, I think it's hard. And especially to lose with a goal like this, I think it's hard. It's hard to be strong when you have to push and go for the ball. Sometimes you are pushing and then you don't have more hands to go for the ball. We need to be stronger in that moment, but especially we need to do the same thing in the opposite side. So we are not changing the rules. We have to adapt to the rules. So again, he basically said the same thing last season too, in the same, I think Arsenal scored a goal just like this as well. And he said basically the same thing. Like, this is what's happening. They're not going to call it. We can't complain about it. We have to try to do the same thing on the opposition half. So he's basically, I look at that more as him saying, like, we're going to start doing this as well, and we need to start doing it, and they better not call fouls on us for doing it because they're letting a lot of this shit go for us. That's how I look at it. I don't know how you guys look at that personally. Y'all can let me know. But it's annoying, not gonna lie. Let's see. Nubis says Ugarte was busy spending time with an influencer on a yacht. There was an influencer on a yacht. Interesting. I don't know much about influencers, to be honest with you. I know that there was a whole thing. Wasn't there like a thing where for a while, like restaurants and hotels were double charging influencers because influencers were trying to get things for free? That is weird. I don't do entitled behavior, but that's really weird. Yeah, Johnny, he said it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with fitness or anything. Just lack of sharpness, basically. Yeah, we said that earlier. Box wants to know where Mazraoui gets into this team. Honestly, right now, you put him in where Shaw is, or you have Yoro play there and you put Mazraoui on the right. That's where I'm playing Mazraoui right now with everyone fit because I do think he's better than Shaw in that moment. But it's a good problem to have. But again, it just highlights that if one of these guys is injured, the next person to come in is just levels below, unfortunately. So yeah, man, that's Samuel. That's why we call him Samuel Butthurts and not Samuel Luckhurst. The guy got banned a couple times from pressers, and he's got nothing but negativity to spout about United. So it's why you don't see me quote anything from Samuel Luckhurst on this channel because the guy is an absolute bell end who I've got zero time for. But big up, man. Welcome. Let's see what y'all are saying here. Nothing new. All right. Keep getting involved, you guys. Keep liking the video. What are you guys saying in this poll? Still pretty much the same. 80-20, we deserve more. So it sounds like you guys are kind of on the same page. So those were Amorim's thoughts. I got 3 thoughts of my own. You guys always know we do the 3 thoughts. So get your thoughts in while we're going along. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's start with number 1. Same shit, different day. I thought after a bit of a bright start, again, concede a set piece, and the worst of the worst parts of us were on display. If you want to really get down technical to it, I thought that we showed how badly we need a new goalkeeper. We show how badly we need to work on our set piece defending. Have I said that before? We dropped a gear before halftime, which we've seen before as well. We missed open chances in front of goal, even 15 shots from inside the box. We saw that as well. Slow, ponderous build-up play. Saw that as well today. Resorting to long balls into the box for Maguire in the dying minutes when we just really didn't have anything else in our playbook. Saw that again. I mean, it doesn't mean the performance overall was shit. Like what I said earlier to start the show is that the worst things, the biggest bugaboos that I have with this squad, we saw them all again today, even despite the better overall performance. And we have to learn to cut this shit out of our game. You know, it's the negatives I saw were the same negatives that we've been complaining about for a couple of years. We need to cut out the stupid mistakes. We need to improve in those very basic key areas. We just need to do these things. I have no way else to say that. Again, same shit, different day. That doesn't mean we were shit. It means we saw a lot of the same nonsense that we've been seeing for a couple of years that we just can't seem to kind of kick out of our system here. What are you guys saying here? Jarvis says, okay, Sean, Bruno's biggest issue is positional indiscipline. When he drifts, it creates a knock-on error for the rest of the team. The structure breaks down and others take the blame. No, I don't disagree. That kind of touches upon that O principle that I've talked about many times in the channel. For those of you who are new, the O principle in football asserts that a player's negatives, they're multiplied on the pitch, not stacked, because what they do, like in this case, Bruno, his positional indiscipline, which you're not wrong about, Jarvis. I've complained about this many times about Bruno, but that particular flaw multiplies because, like you're saying, it pulls everyone else. Everyone's got to kind of make up for that when he goes running. What I'm saying, and it's literally what Amorim said, and you see this anytime a coach plays a double pivot, one of those midfielders is going to have license to be more creative and get forward, which means the other one's going to sit back. So you've got one that sits deep and the other gets forward. Now that's a system thing. Bruno roaming is partly on him, partly because he's trusted to do these kind of things. I'm not excusing. I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying this is from a manager perspective. Look at what happens in the last 15 minutes or so when we need to do something. Who's that ball dropping to every single time? It's going to Bruno. Saw the same thing last year. The players trust Bruno. Amorim trusts Bruno. Bruno is one of the few players in the team, let alone the Premier League, who can do stuff in those moments that other players can't. It didn't come off today because he had a bad day at the office. It just is what it is. I don't disagree that he roams, but I don't necessarily think that it's 100% just Bruno being Bruno, as a lot of people like to think, if that makes sense. But you're right that when a player's flaws are there, they impact everyone else. I've said it about Onana many times. His lack of coming off the line, his lack of bravery, his shot stopping, it multiplies because it impacts everyone else around him. They've got to be caught in two minds. Do I do this? Do I do that? Can I trust him to do this or that? We see ripple effects. It's a ripple effect. So you're totally right. I just don't know if I would 100% attribute that to Bruno just going rogue all the time, if that makes sense. But that's just me. So I don't really think it's a right or wrong kind of debate. I think it's just a different ways of looking at it, kind of a situation, if that makes sense. We could go to a museum, Jarvis, and look at a sculpture in the middle of a room, and where you could be standing on one side, I could be standing the other side, and we're going to see two totally different sculptures because of where we're standing on something. It's just the way it is. So when he vacates his zone, it forces teammates to cover. Breaks our spacing, the whole system suffers. And Amorim setup, you need structure first. And I don't think that Bruno's necessarily helped by the fact that the player next to him today was Casemiro. In this system too, I think people look at it as like a back five necessarily with the fullbacks, but really you got to look at these wing backs. Their job too in this system is to also move inward too in different situations and cover that inside channel as well, depending on the situation. It requires a lot of football intelligence, a lot of good positional awareness, a lot of good reading of the game. I don't know if everyone in the squad has that, unfortunately. Casemiro, unfortunately, just can't hang. And it's not a good midfield setup. And again, at the end of the day, I do give Bruno a little bit of grace in that moment because it's not his natural position. It's just not. He's not a 6. He'll play an 8 sometimes with Portugal, but he's not a 6. Now, he's playing there because he's the only player who's capable of being a deep-lying playmaker in the squad. Nobody else can do it. If we went and got someone like a Stiller or something, totally different conversation, unfortunately. But for now, it's what we have. And so, bad day at the office. I'm not going to extrapolate it. I know we're talking about like a lot of things that we've seen from Bruno, but I think that overall what Bruno offers his team and what he's shown he's offered, and even numbers wise, I think that it justifies a little bit the way that multiple managers have trusted him and allowed him to do the things he does on the pitch. And that's just me looking at it from trying to zoom out the lens a little bit and looking at it over the course of a couple seasons since Bruno has been here. So, Nuba says, my question is, who can deliver perfect passes consistently in tight space? Most of the passes in the final third either get intercepted or no accuracy. And some of that, Nubis, I think, does have to do it again, like I said earlier. We're taking too long to get this ball forward. We're allowing Arsenal to get back into their shape, and they're just fitter than we are. Like the sprints, the distance covered, all that fitness-related stuff today, Arsenal were better at. It just is what it is. We're still not moving the ball quickly enough. It looked a little bit like we could have done with another week or two of preseason, if I'm being honest. Just if you go by the fact that when it came to like neutral fitness, we were starting way down here compared to everyone else, and we're just now kind of getting there. And you can see it still. We had the passion to start, we had the energy, but it fizzled out just late in the first half. We looked gassed with 5 minutes to go in the first half alone. That's not a good sign. And the numbers show like we just were not up for it physically again. The 1v1 stuff, the duels, yeah, but just over the course of just the running and stuff, we just could not handle it. Let's see. Box says Arsenal's bus was hard to penetrate. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. And it's fine when you're up 1-0 away from home at Old Trafford. You can do that. That is what it is. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was some sort of tactical masterclass because it wasn't. So hopefully what I've said about Bruno makes a little bit of sense. Again, it's not a right or wrong. It's just different ways of looking at it. Just it is what it is. So I think that Bruno has been a mercurial player in our squad since we signed him. even when Pogba was still here, it was already Pogba versus Bruno. People either love Bruno or they hate Bruno. I like Bruno. I still probably would have sold him for 100 million. Doesn't mean I think he's shit, but I think I would have liked to have that money. But he's here. I'm still happy that he's here. I'm going to support him. I'm going to criticize him when it's deserved. I'm going to praise him when it's deserved as well. I'm trying to be objective. I know I'm boring in that regard, but it just is. Box says, what individuals had more fitness stats? I'm looking at overall Arsenal's distance covered, their sprints, all that stuff compared to ours. If you go to FootMob, they were just better. That's probably one of the only metrics that they were better at us that on the day. But moving on, number 2, Ahmad has to start. Like, he just has to start. He was an instant difference maker when he came on. And it's baffling to me that Dalot got the nod ahead of him today. I don't understand that at all. Dalot, I mean, he does have a little bit more of that physicality if you want to get nitpicky about it when it comes to just kind of tracking back. I think Dalot is, as far as athleticism is going, just overall athlete, he's probably more of an athlete than Ahmad, just in terms of just size, speed, power, all that kind of stuff. But on the ball, where it counts in the final third, Ahmad's just better. He's just levels ahead. It's no contest. Completed all his dribbles, won all of his duels, created that chance, took a nice shot as well. He's linking up very well with Mbeumo. He's looking miles ahead of Dalot in every metric. And Dalot is, 4 years ahead of him? We just look like more threatening when Ahmad's on the pitch, especially now that he and Mbeumo are kind of developing a really good little partnership on that right-hand side. It's just, I think that, again, had he started, maybe we could have seen something different. I don't know what the choice was there. Amorim basically said ahead of it, like, it's just, I picked the team, everyone who looked good in preseason, it is what it is. But I still think that we should have maybe started him today. And I think he has to start moving forward. And I think that anything other than that is just, again, maybe like someone implied about Ineos, it's just not learning from mistakes at that point. So Lucky wants Mbeumo. Benjamin Sesko maybe start against Fulham. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Fulham later on in the week. Matt Hatter, welcome back. Mbeumo is my new favorite. Matt Hatter, if you are feeling Mbeumo, check out the UVE store. I think there are a little products just below the video player. If you scroll down your video player for a hot second, you'll see the Mboum shirt available in the UVE store. Got that just for y'all when we signed him. So if he's your favorite, that's one of the best ways to celebrate that, my friend. Nuva says, I don't understand. What's the point of Dalot doing the overlapping run he can't cross? It's one of those things where it's like he gets into that position so well. Like, he's got speed, he's got power, he's got a good little step over, and then it's just that final ball that lets him down. You got to, like, statistically thinking, you'd think that maybe even now, just by accident, he would put one on a dime for somebody, but it just hasn't really happened. Even that one that Garnacho bicycled against Everton and got the Puskas forward, like, the ball was actually well behind him. Garnacho ended up making the most out of that ball. And so I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm not trying to be pedantic about it, but Dalot's final ball has never been something that he's improved. It's similar to like Rashford's decision-making in the final third. It's just, he's been here like 10 years almost, Dalot. That's one thing I've never seen him improve on. Lately, too, it's also been the closing down the attacker with the ball in these 1v1s. He stands off him a little too much, and these players are getting balls in the box at will. But again, Ahmad's got to start. And maybe it's against a certain opposition thing for Amorim. I don't know, but he's got to start. Box says, our crosses in general, not the best. We haven't really done a whole lot of them, if you guys really think about it. Since Ronaldo left, and even then, we weren't even very good at it because we haven't really had like traditional wingers. We've had inside forwards, Rashford on the left. We had Antony on the right, Garnacho on the left, Greenwood when he was still here. They want to cut in. They want to shoot off their inside foot. Ronaldo, remember that match where Rashford and Greenwood kept trying to find Ronaldo with these crosses, and all these crosses were like 4 feet over his head. There was a point in that match where he looks at the manager and he's just like, I don't know what to do. We're not very good at it because until recently, we haven't had players who don't want to just shoot. And so I think that we now need to find some way to put crosses in the box. So now we've got a 6.5-foot striker in the box. Hopefully something will happen, but we've got to be able to still put delivery in. Now, Dorgu's looking better at it. He's doing much better, I think. And Gary Neville pointed this out, and I made a point to talk about this over the summer too, And Gary Neville even explained, as a right back, he got better when he stopped trying to pick out a player and just started putting a ball into the area. And that's the criticism I had with Dorgu last year. He was trying a little too hard to get as far to that byline as he could and then pick out a player, which generally means the ball is going away from goal, which isn't a good situation to be in. Just put the ball in early, put it in that area, and let your attackers do the rest. There should be a couple of them in there. Let it, if you try to pinpoint it, more often than not, it's going to go behind everybody. And so once Dorgu switched that up, I thought he's been looking a lot better. And so Nuba says, any Saudi team willing to buy Ugarte, please someone get him. Ugarte's, he's not bad, but he's not the answer. He would have to really improve his ball progression, his passing range, in order for me to think he's the answer personally. There might be some young ones out there. We did a video the other week on some young center midfielders as well. I'm sure Danny's got several in his notebook for somewhere playing out in Brazil or Argentina that he could share with us as well. Box says, remember prime Valencia crosses for Rooney. Oh, now, wasn't that Nani? Every time. I swear, I know how to drink. It's like as soon as I get on this thing, I forget how to drink water. Casper's unfinished business says, but as I said, I didn't want to lose Arsenal, but the first game of the season, I worry, away at Fulham next week. Fulham can be tricky. They did knock us out of the FA Cup last year, and so they can be tricky. So we'll see. We'll preview that one a little later on in the week. So moving on, number 3 for my thoughts here. Was there any progress? Did we see any progress today? Any signs of improvement? Any sign of progress? I'll be honest, and I think we've said it many times already today. I thought we looked very good overall, personally. I thought that we just created chances. We looked up for it to start the match. Obviously, it dwindled a little bit. That rallying cry from the home crowd when the stoppage time went up, would those kind of things have happened last season? Maybe it was more due getting some of that time back from Arsenal's time wasting. But this is one of those times where the loss still has a few little wins within it, if that makes sense. Because, again, some of the numbers that we were not doing well on last year, the duels, the 1v1s, we were very, very good at this season. Or just today, sorry. The chances, the shots, all that stuff, we were much better at. So again, wins within the loss, I guess, is the way to look at it. I'm not saying that I'm happy with the result at all, because I'm not happy with the loss. Just because I'm not freaking out, not raging, not trying to get views by screaming at the microphone and breaking shit, doesn't mean I'm happy with it. I'm not happy with the loss, but I've said many times, I can take a loss if the performance was good. And I thought overall we looked much, much better. I agree with Amorim. He said that we looked better, more aggressive, doing much better in little key areas. I also agree with Gary Neville that if we maintain this level of performance, we'll have a much better season than last year. I do think it'll start clicking. We have a lot of new players. Some of them have not even been here a week. It'll get there. The fitness, I think, is still not quite there. The new signings are going to need time. Just look at what a preseason did for Dorgu. To me, that's a good sign. Cunha looks more in sync than Mbumo. Mbumo looks more in sync than Shesko. Again, these players who have been here a shorter amount of time, they're going to take time. Give it some time. Be patient. Dan says, yeah, it needs to gel. It's one match of the season, and I think anybody who doesn't agree that we were by far the better side on the day, you might just be looking for the negatives personally. So, yeah, a little bit of progress, much better, says Mad Hatter, than compared to how we looked last season. Yeah. Hey, and how about that? 15th place, picking up right where we left off. So, hey, I suppose, too, we can take a little bit of solace from the fact that Arsenal didn't really threaten us outside of that fluky corner. We kept Odegaard and Bukayo Saka quiet. Gyökeres lost his battle with De Ligt today. In attack, we were better. Cunha and Mbumo, Ahmad, giving them a miserable time of it. Madueke, Lewis Skelly, they were dying for help in there. I thought we deserved more from the match, to be honest. And I thought with a couple more minutes, we probably could have equalized. We just didn't quite take advantage of those chances. We do look just as vulnerable defending set pieces as we have for Euros. That has to get improved upon for sure. Arsenal were definitely one of those sides that won ugly today. You have to be able to do that, though, and we're not quite there yet. Problem is, we don't really get a break for the next several weeks either. This was literally, and I think the commentator team said it to start the match, we have statistically the worst first beginning to the season of everyone in the league when you look at the opposition we have to play. We get Fulham, Burnley. They could be a little bit of a upset side for us. We get City after that, Chelsea, Brentford, who don't look great, Sunderland, who made a big statement this weekend, and then we get Liverpool. So we get 4 of the big ones out of the way to start the season, which really, really could hurt us. It could help us, but you're not going to win the league in these first couple months, but you can definitely put yourself in a very difficult position to get up there. Arsenal, City, Chelsea, and Liverpool in our first handful of matches is not fun at all. Nuba says Ugarte is bad under Amorim. He played like 2 seasons at Sporting and never won anything major there. Once he left, Sporting starting winning everything. Yeah, and then Amorim was the one who let him go as well and replaced him with Morten Hjulman, and the rest is history there. So maybe it's just that Amorim doesn't rate him too highly or needs to see more from him. So who knows, man? So Capture says Fulham is tricky. The goal still could be a problem. Yeah, Fulham can be tricky. They're definitely, if we haven't improved their physical side, it's one of those things where you think the threats are and how you're going to counter that. I think Fulham, like we saw last year, like to get that ball wide. They like to overload those wide areas and like to put balls in the box with guys like Anthony Robinson and stuff. And so it is a place that we tend to struggle with, defending balls into the box. So we're going to have to be switched on. We're going to have to put pressure on those players. We're going to have to look out for the overloads in those wide areas. People are going to have to help out. That might be a match for Ugarte and not Casemiro, for instance. Heck, it might be a match for Mount to start in a deeper role and let Bruno start in a more advanced role. And that could be the way to do it. There's a lot of ways you could line up this team. So, Box did soccer play. Comment of the night. You guys are funny. Jarvis has got more Bruno stuff in here. Jarvis, I'm going to look at that later. I don't want to derail. That's a lot. You guys are funny. Let me get me caught up here. Hold on a second. So, and those of you who didn't, if you guys watched it yesterday, I put a link of it. Then I realized that it was also on MUTV despite being at Everton. But the 18s played Everton this weekend. Darren Fletcher was coaching. JJ Gabriel started and honestly was probably one of the best players for us on the pitch. He won the pen that Ibrahimov put away, and Ibrahimov ended up doing, I think, the Bruno Fernandes celebration. JJ Gabriel looks like he's grown like 4 or 5 inches as well. Like he's going to be a straight up baller. The kid's already playing in the U18s, starting for the U18s, by the way. Kai Rooney on the bench for anyone who wants to feel old as fuck. So there's that. He came on and looked good as well. So yeah, Rooney's kid playing for the under 18s now. But overall, the 18s look good. We high press. We forced a lot of Everton to errors. They really couldn't cope with us, Everton. They resigned to a lot of fouls, a lot of double marking players. Basically, they were trying to out physical us, and we were just technically better. And we ended up winning 1-0 on the day. So big up the under 18s. You guys are funny. Let's see what you guys saying here. Samuel says, Saeed TV says, it's disgraceful how no other teams looked at signing Cherki. I think a lot of other teams looked at him, but I mean, the moment you say Saeed TV, Samuel, I start to kind of tune out a little bit. I got no problems with Saeed. Maybe it's just a preference in the way people like the sort of persona they want to put out. I don't know. Maybe I just don't gravitate towards the content that is just hyper negative all the time. Like that's just me. If y'all do what you got to do. I like to actually talk and discuss. I don't like to just see people freaking out every time something doesn't go their way. So it is what it is. Dana says, yeah, Gabriel was the best player. Rooney debut. Yeah. Kai Rooney coming on is just really trying to make me feel old, man. So, well, who was your man of the match? Was there a man of the match? Normally I don't do a man of the match when we lose. I don't really see the point, but for me, it's definitely got to be Dorgu. An argument could be made for Cunha and Bromo as well, but Dorgu I thought was very good. Delit up there with a shout as well. I think overall, again, good performance. Unlucky, I think, not to come out of there with at least a point. I thought we were definitely a better side, but again, when you can win ugly like Arsenal did, that is going to be the difference maker, and it shows. I mean, they're 6 years into this whole process under Arteta. This team has had a lot of time together. We've still got guys who have only been here a week. It's going to take time. We're in a rebuild. We're at the start of a rebuild. Don't rush it. Be patient. And I think we're going to see a lot better performances and a lot better results, more importantly, the rest of the season. So Box has most of the United channels. Well, I don't know if I call them garbage. I just try to be nice, but yeah, I used to watch a lot more than I do. I just don't have time now to watch as many. I used to watch all of it. Like I used to watch the United stand, but I usually just watch like when they have all the people on there, like Kevin and stuff, when or like Ricky. I don't really watch it. That I do still watch Football Terrorist. I used to watch more Alice a lot, United People's TV, AJ Analysis. I used to watch all this, but now now that I'm doing this now, this takes up a lot of my time as well. So I just don't have the time. Sometimes if I'm playing FC 25 or something, I'll put it on my phone and listen to stuff while I'm doing it. But nowadays, I actually watch more of like the overlap and stuff like that than the normal content stuff. So Nuba says JJ better not be heading towards Garnacho's path. Seems like he's got tunnel vision when he has the ball, dribble and shoot. He's easily the best player at his age level, at least in our academy right now. I mean, he's about as old as Lamine Yamal. I don't think he's as good as Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is a world class, but he's very good. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting in the 21s maybe next season. And we need to do everything to keep him happy because he's an absolute beast. Danny said Delit or Cunha for man of the match. Yeah, members, use your man of the match emoji. Let me know what you think. Danny says all played well, bar Dallo. Binder, yeah. ITN, welcome back. We played decent, but today showed Arsenal's experience in recent years. It showed their shithousery, I think, most importantly. Time wasting, pushing and pulling on the set pieces. The set pieces just let's all get around the keeper and prevent them from doing everything. So Danny says, oh yeah, I forgot about Stretford. Stretford's probably the one I watch most. They just have a lot of variety. Housen, I got time for Housen. I respect the hell out of that guy. I think tactically he's one of the best you're gonna see. Go look at like AJ Analysis as well. Good tactics. I always concede to guys like Housen and AJ when it comes to the tactical side of things. I do talk tactics now and then, but these guys, I mean, Housen's literally like coaching, like, and so I'm always going to bow to his judgment on that. Now, I'm not going to agree with everything, but he's just going to know a lot more than me. So I will say when it comes to scouting, though, I think I got him all beat. But hey, that's just me. I'm tooting my own horn a little bit and nothing wrong with that. So ITN says, more concerning we need a goal. Ugarte comes in. Mainu, yeah. And again, the little things today. Today was a little down to the little things, but yeah, Mainu. I think a lot of people were wondering what was going on with Mainu. I haven't seen anything when it comes to Danny forgot Jarvis. Sorry. Of course, Jarvis. Sorry, Jarvis. No, you're of course, and Rich Red Devils United. So, but what was I saying there? Mainu, yeah. I wonder if it has something to do with the contracts. Has anybody heard anything about Mainu's contract situation at all? Because I haven't heard anything since Wheeler Dealer decided to say he wants $250K a week. So somebody let me know. Sometimes when these players are kind of on the fence about this, sometimes a manager will go one of two ways. They'll play them to convince them, or they won't play them to try to convince them to sign and say, well, we've seen that with players in the past. So I hope it's not any of that. So Nuba says any channel that overly praised Bruno would not get my sub. I will say that I think I am pretty objective and fair and unbiased when it comes. I'll give everybody criticism when they deserve it, and everybody gets praise when they deserve it. Even ownership, even managers. I will say that. I don't tend to do a whole lot of knee-jerk stuff, and so I know that's probably not fun and exciting, but maybe it's just the therapist in me not trying to get overly attached to initial thoughts and initial emotions about something. I don't know, but I do tend to wait and see a little bit. So, but it is what it is. Danny says we needed Mainu to get, not Ugarte. Yeah, I think he definitely could have helped a little bit when Arsenal was sitting back, maybe a little bit more movement. We've seen Mainu score a few goals in those areas in and around the box. So we'll see what happens. Jarvis, I do want to link up with you one of these days, talk more about Bruno stuff, because I do want to hear your thoughts. But I think that if I started reading all the stuff, we could sit here another half hour and talk about it. So Bexy says, what do you think about Højlund today? Harsh. Yeah, we spoke about that earlier. Now we got some rumors that he's pretty much done. Romano says that he's pretty much done with United, where like the relationship's done. I think the writing's on the wall with Højlund. I don't think it's anything personal. I think it's just a matter of you're not good enough. And And that just is what it is. Barada's got that 2-year kind of policy. Did Hoyland show enough in his first year? Probably not. Getting a little bit of money could help. Initial loan fee, maybe getting like that 40 million, 35 million, whatever it was in the summer, that could be a big help. So it's just a question of, do we want to wait another year, or do we want to maybe make our money back now and just call it what it is and maybe look at another young striker? Maybe Cheeto will be ready by then. Do not know. Dana says, Nura at United Real Therapy, tell it how it is. A little negative at times, but spot on. Interesting. That's not one I'm familiar with. There seems to be a lot of United channels out there. That was one of the things I struggled with a year ago when I was going back and forth on whether or not to start a channel, because there are so many United channels out there on YouTube. I did not want to just get lost in the mix, basically. And so it was a question. But at the end of the day, I decided it was, if nothing else, just rather just do what I'm doing now. We're just having conversation about the club, about performances, about transfers, about players, about it all, getting to know people, getting the community together. And that's really what it is. I really could not care less if the channel gets 1 million followers. It would be great if it got that. I don't think it's ever going to, I don't do this for money or anything. This is strictly just a hobby. So, and it's a fun one, probably the most enjoyable hobby I have, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm talking about this shit all day, every day anyway. Might as well sit here and do it with y'all. So it's preaching to the choir, ITN. We need a competent goalkeeper. One game and we got 2 clowns. Box has a lot of narrative based. Yeah, I do think that some people have like I guess you would call it like a persona. Like the way they are on the camera is not maybe how they are in real life. I think maybe they saw an opportunity to be a unique kind of persona in this whole realm, and then they took advantage of that. I think some people go hyper negative just to do that, and some people don't. I don't know. If they're right, if some people are like that in real life, then that's maybe another sign that I just wouldn't vibe with these kind of people. But it is what it is. It's not a judgment. It's just some personalities, and I just don't click. So it is what it is. Cat2, welcome back, Cat2. We were better, but not sure if we really deserved the goal. I think there were many positives, though. Yeah, I thought we deserved more from the match. We definitely didn't do enough to score, but I do think that if we had like another 5 minutes, we probably would have equalized, because we just seem to do that when we resort to the hoof and hope stuff. So Nuba says, if you're consistently doing live, your channel will hit 100K by next year. I'm semi-consistent. It might not be every single day, but it's usually at least every other day. I'll do a stream. I don't do multiple streams unless there's breaking stuff that pops up, because I don't like doing multiple streams about the same rumors, if that makes sense. I have too much respect for you guys to do that. Plus, like I said, this isn't my job. I've got a job. I've got a business to run. I've got my own clients I've got to meet with. So, and then my wife does, and we both work from home. And so trying to coordinate schedules, sometimes that dictates when I go live, which is why I don't always go live the same time every time I do. And so you guys are super patient and understanding with that, and you guys are able to join when you can. I try to give you as much notice as I can. So, but this is just how it is. So Samuel says, do I have a restaurant in America called Smith and Western? It's a big country. I don't know. I've never heard of that one, my friend. We do have a restaurant in Michigan, though, called Turkeyville on the west side of the state. And they serve just nothing but Thanksgiving dinner like year round. It's all just Thanksgiving food. I know. It's basically heaven. So, because that's my favorite food for anyone guys who've been watching the channel for a while. So, yeah, Danny, I'm super excited for Rich, man. That guy's channel has been growing. I know he's been grinding for a couple of years, and it's good to just see it kind of go leaps and bounds. When you're doing that much content, man, that's definitely going to help. So big up Rich, man, putting in the work. Appreciate that. So Box says less and more, in my opinion, quality over quantity. Yeah, no, I agree, which is why I'm not going to go live with 3 of the same Rasmus Hoyland thumbnails talking about the same Romano rumor about Hoyland all day long. It'd probably get me more subs, but at the end of the day, it's a bit of pandering. Not really a fan of that. So, but you guys are here, and I appreciate that. So, Casper, sorry, man. I know you got a lot of stuff going on with YouTube, but I know that YouTube is a little weird. They are owned by Google. Google pretty much runs the show, and so there is a lot of craziness out there. So I hear you, but you guys, if you weren't able to catch the live, make sure you leave your comments on the video. You guys know I will keep a lookout for that and respond to them as well. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you're new. We saw a lot of new faces in here. I know there's always lurkers in here. Help the channel grow. Help us reach more people. We're on the road to 3K. I would love to get there as soon as possible. We can get there before the transfer window closes. Maybe that'll be my new giveaway. If we get the 3K before the transfer window closes, we'll do the giveaway. I give you guys a second chance. We thought we could get there before the season officially started. If we get to 3K before the transfer window closes, I'll do a 25-26 shirt giveaway of your choice. You can get a player on it. You can get patches. You can get whatever you want. I'll hook you up. So do your part. I'll do mine. Until next time, you guys, like the video, subscribe, check the memberships, check the UVE store. I know someone said they're a big fan of Mbumo now. Go check out the Mbumo shirt. The 9.5 shirt is back. The OG green and gold is in there. The class of 92 shirt. It's all in there. It's all super cheap, and it all goes towards charity for the next couple weeks or so. So until next time, you guys, take it easy, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.